It's Ray Give TV.
In the block.
Let's get right to it.
They ain't got no toilet seat covers in here.
Why everybody mad at me? I gave them the warning when the family was telling me I was trying to give them warning.
Everybody else can rot.
Huh?
Everybody else can rot. I'm gonna give you a time.
They got a bunch of no jumper gonna be kind of light over there.
Yo.
Dang.
Oh no. Shit.
Yeah. I've been telling people June 23rd, 2023.
What's going on?
I've been telling people.
Actually, you did, because I remember there was a time you said, I guess somebody had a call and they was like telling how they got raided before, or something was going to happen right after. Then you said, you gave a number and you said something's going to happen and this many people going to get swooped up. Then that happened. Then you been talking about this and saying, look, something happened real soon. I think, didn't you say that like maybe a couple days ago? Like
I
niggas
said,
moving
yo.
bodies and shit?
I said, yo, listen, I played the recording. Hold on. I played the recording.
March the beginning of April.
On your son's murder?
It's both. They transferred the case to the FBI out there in Vegas, and Las Vegas police department is still handling the case as well.
So when did the test come back? When did the DNA come back?
It came back 2 months ago.
And they still ain't arrested the nigga?
Well, they told me, between me and you, please, Black one, between me and you, don't tell nobody, because they don't want nobody to know. They're going to be making an arrest the ending of March, the beginning of April.
Now, if I wouldn't have said nothing, no, played that today, they would have said, Wack cooperated with what the police wanted. But then when I had 600 release it, all of a sudden, Wack want a nigga to go to jail. I'm confused. Which one is it?
That's
I'm
cop
giving
shit.
you heads up, nigga. Here, this is what they saying, nigga. This is what the family saying and people telling them. Here, nigga. Because if I'd have just played it today after they got a nigga, it's like, damn, Wack, why you didn't tell a nigga, bro? What kind of shit is that? Crazy. Yo, let's see if that thing is on up top. Hope the nigga turn it up or put on them track shoes, one of the two.
I was they talking about like other news and stuff. I'm watching and I don't see the press conference come on yet.
But when it come on, let's click it on.
All right.
So was am I right or wrong? If the family tell me that and say don't say nothing because the police don't want them to know, and I don't say nothing, I kind of felt like I was cooperating with what the police wanted.
Most definitely.
So I said something. So when I said something and let it go, they still went, yo, laughing. So which way was I supposed to go?
You ain't did nothing wrong.
Nigga.
And if that nigga was smart, he would have hop, skipped, and boogied about it.
Hey, bro, go prepared or something. Good shit.
They were so upset who the messenger was. They didn't pay attention to the message.
The message, I was about to say that. Like she gave you that information. You just asked a couple questions to get some clear understanding of what's going on.
Give me the information and say, don't say nothing because the police don't want them to know. Okay, well, shit. I gotta say something. Because that means if I don't say nothing, I'm cooperating on the side of the police.
Even though you wasn't dealing with it, you gave him a heads up. That's crazy.
Yeah, straight, even though I didn't fuck with him. I let him hear it. Now, he know the lady voice because the lady worked for him. The lady's son lived with him for 2 years. She was the teen mama, passed out the oranges and the Capri Suns for the pop water. So you know who that is. You know her voice. So nigga, You see what's going. You know that's her son in the field. You know they didn't arrested you and used a federal warrant to get your blood. You know all this shit, and you hearing her. You've been getting at least you've been getting warnings since the 3rd of March.
I would have left her.
I got Tink running murder mystery. This bitch then got so good at murder mystery. She don't even know what she running, but she really going through it. All I'm doing is when y'all like, well, could it be or could it possibly be? I'm running the recordings of the people. Yep, they had to whoop and they had to serve a warrant to get his blood. Wack, who blood? I run it back. They found my brother's DNA. They found Big U's DNA out of my brother Nails. I'm running the content, letting y'all run it. But the whole time, nigga, I know it's gonna get to you because the media team down there working. They chopping and editing and clipping and it's going up. Oh,
Sorry, I was something.
Wack talking about no, I was telling them how you was never briefed on the murder mystery you read. You was just so dead on it. All I did was when you got to certain parts, I played a recording.
Yeah, facts.
That's it. I never briefed. Pink had no idea
I
what
had,
was
yeah,
going
you
on.
just sent like the link. It was no names, no nothing involved. I was like, what the?
And she started reading the newspaper clippings. She started reading the news clippings, and as she like, well, this could have been, and could this have been, and this, and I play a little. Now I'm playing a recording. Why? Because the recording creates the content. The content goes to the media team. The media team put it up on the internet. When it hit the internet, 600, they watching you because y'all enemies. Grab it. 600 grabs it and plays it. Hey, listen, nigga, do you hear the ladies whose son lived with you for 2 years? The lady whose son, they arrested you and took your DNA. Do you hear this, what this lady is saying? Law enforcement is telling her. Do you hear this, what the law people telling her? Hello, hello. Do you hear it?
Damn.
Last
So
week,
it's an update on it. What happened?
shit,
Girl,
hit that house. Go look at my Instagram.
What? Hold on.
they had a raid.
No, who?
That's Big U house. That's the feds. That taped off.
Oh shit! I know you. Like he arrested right now.
I don't know if he was there, but they looking for him. That's a fact. That's his crib.
That's crazy.
And in conjunction with Tink's case, didn't you say they, or wasn't it said, not you, let's say Wack, but wasn't it said somewhere in there that they had to get a warrant to request his DNA? And I know you spoke on saying, hey, aren't you supposed to get your DNA when you go to prisoners? I remember that being a comment.
Yeah, yeah. When they parole you, when they parole us, they swab us. Because what they do, they take our swab and they run it through the system. So let's say it's a case in Kentucky that's a cold case, right? And let's say I went to jail. I did this crime in 90. Then I go to jail in 93. My shit ain't on file. I parole in 99. They swab my mouth. When they swab my mouth, they put it in the system. That DNA is sitting there as a cold case. If that's my DNA, when they put it in the system in California, it's going to say match, hold, detain, wanted on criminal offense in Kentucky. Then they're going to alert Kentucky and say, we got a hit on the DNA that you found on this case. This inmate is here and due for release on this date. Y'all got 45 days to come get him. Meaning, if they find a body, right? And let's say I'd have been my skin up under that boy's nails. When they put that DNA through the system, it's going to match. Boom. Because my shit is in the system. Straight up. So that's why I was like, well, shit. Why? And I'm going to be real. I don't even think they really had to get his DNA. I don't know if y'all remember, we put the paperwork up of the New Jersey 60s. A Big U was in the middle of that, and they took them down. That was all 2022. I believe he was just working on so many different cooperating cases. They let the nigga close these situations out before they, all right, notify the family. They like, listen, nigga, we got him dead. He ain't going nowhere. This nigga working on this. We got an indictment for 15 people here, another indictment for 9 people here. We can't afford, nah, y'all got to hold up because the murder was 2021. I'm pretty sure that the people ran that DNA, and I'm pretty sure it was a hit. But he was working the Sue Surfing them case. We got all that work. It was 14 of them. Big U, one of the ones, they named him as a gang leader and all that shit. And when they came and served the indictments 2 weeks later, everybody was there but him. His name was the only one gone. Everybody went to jail.
It's so crazy because the magnifying
Oh,
glass
here
has
we got
been
it.
on him. We
Operation
on there?
Drawdown.
Let's do it.
Operation
Good
Drawdown.
morning. I'm Joe McNally, the acting United States Attorney here in Los Angeles. Today, we're here to announce federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, and a youth charity to further his own criminal enterprise, an enterprise that engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human trafficking, COVID fraud, and other felonies. Mr. Henley and several other individuals linked to him and his criminal enterprise were charged in a criminal complaint with federal racketeering conspiracy. Mr. Henley is a fugitive, and he is currently wanted by federal law enforcement. Other individuals linked to his criminal enterprise were arrested today, approximately 10 defendants who are charged in various indictments. Again, Mr. Henley is a fugitive. 4 defendants are in state custody and will be transferred into federal custody, and we are still seeking Mr. Henley and another fugitive. The Department of Justice's top priority is eliminating violent crime caused by criminal street gangs and organized crime. These organizations cause a tremendous amount of harm in our communities, and today's arrests are part of our office's efforts, FBI, IRS, LAPD, the team you see up here, to make our community safer and rid our streets of these criminal street gangs, including ones operated by violent felons like Mr. Henley, who are posing as savvy businessmen and community leaders, but in the end are violent criminals. The affidavit filed with the criminal complaint alleges that Mr. Henley operated Big U Enterprises, a mafia-like organization that utilized Mr. Henley's stature and long-standing association with the Crips criminal street gang and other gangs here in Los Angeles to intimidate businesses and individuals in our communities. I want to stress that the allegations here in the complaint are allegations only, and the defendants are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Let me talk a little bit about Mr. Henley and the street gang here. As I said, Mr. Henley is a widely known leader within the Rolling 60s. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet, talk shows, and podcasts, all things that law enforcement have looked at closely as part of this investigation. He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, which purports to help at youth risk escape gang life in our communities. And today's arrests are part of our office's efforts, FBI, IRS, LAPD, the team you see up here, to make our community safer and rid our streets of these criminal street gangs, including ones operated by violent felons like Mr. Henley, who are posing as savvy businessmen and community leaders, but in the end are violent criminals. The affidavit filed with the criminal complaint alleges that Mr. Henley operated Big U Enterprises, a mafia-like organization that utilized Mr. Henley's stature and long-standing association with the Crips criminal street gang and other gangs here in Los Angeles to intimidate businesses and individuals in our communities. I want to stress that the allegations here in the complaint are allegations only, and the defendants are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Let me talk a little bit about Mr. Henley and the street gang here. As I said, Mr. Henley is a widely known leader within the rolling 60s. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet, talk shows, and podcasts, all things that law enforcement have looked at closely as part of this investigation. He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, Developing Options, which purports to help at youth risk escape gang life and escape the perils of gangs in high crime areas. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement. Henley's criminal enterprise also engaged in other crimes, including transporting prostitutes across state lines, extorting strip clubs, marijuana dispensaries, and other businesses, and fraudulently applying for COVID loans in the form of a business relief loan. On that application, Mr. Henley falsely stated that his music label, Unique Music, operated at a $200,000 profit in 2019 and was entitled to government assistance, despite the reality that the company had operated at a loss and was ineligible for such relief. Finally, Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes, and businesses to his charity, Developing Options, which, as I said, purports to give South LA at-risk youth alternatives to gang violence, drugs, and other criminal activity. Henley used this charity as a front. He used it to conceal his fraudulent activities, his criminal enterprises activities, and evade detection from law enforcement. If convicted on the racketeering conspiracy, he and his co-conspirators face approximately a 20-year federal prison sentence. I want to thank our federal law enforcement partners, our state law enforcement partners who brought about the result here today. The Los Angeles Metropolitan Gang Task Force from the FBI. It's comprised of FBI agents, LAPD officers, IRS criminal investigation, the U.S. Department of Justice Inspector General's Office, Los Angeles Police Department, the North Las Vegas Police Department. This case is a great example of state and federal law enforcement working together to address harm from a criminal enterprise. I also want to thank our prosecutors, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Kevin Butler and Jenna McCabe, for their diligence and dogged determination in this case. With that, I'll turn it over to our next speaker, FBI Special Agent in Charge, Ted Dox.
Well, thank you, Joe. Absolutely. My name is Ted Dox, Special Agent in Charge of FBI Los Angeles' Criminal Division. These operations are truly a team effort, and I would like to recognize those partnerships. If not for their commitment, dedication, and follow-through, we would not be here today. First, I'd like to thank LAPD, IRS Criminal Investigations, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for working collaboratively for the past 4 years, in this case with FBI Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on violent gangs. I'd also like to thank the U.S. Marshal Service for their assistance today, and many departments in California, Arizona, Nevada, and the North Las Vegas Police Department. Now, this morning, hundreds of agents and officers, including multiple SWAT teams, executed multiple arrest warrants for many of the 19 defendants charged in this case. Search warrants were executed at 6 locations. Those searches continue to be underway. 4 of the 19 defendants were already in custody, and 10 defendants were taken into custody in the last 24 hours. And while we're still seeking the whereabouts of 5 individuals, 3 of whom we believe we will have in custody shortly, 2 defendants are considered fugitives. They are Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U, and Brian Mejia. We will provide their photographs to the media following this announcement. Anyone with information as to their whereabouts should not take action on their own, but contact the FBI. You can reach us by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. During this investigation, we recovered 49 weapons, 5 pounds of methamphetamines, 10,000 fentanyl pills, and large amounts of cash. The Rolling 16 Crips have been around for decades, and by some estimates are among the largest gangs in the country, with factions in multiple states. Mr. Henley has been a known member of the Rolling 60s Crips since the 1980s, where he established his reputation and earned standing with fellow gang members. He has been able to use that standing to intimidate businesses and individuals and to commit various forms of violence, including the alleged murder outlined by the U.S. Attorney. He's also been able to influence others to give him money, only to defraud his victims, including defrauding the U.S., the government, the city of Los Angeles, and you, the taxpayer. Before I close, I'd like to ask that anyone who has information about the alleged criminal activity or feel that they have been victimized by any of the defendants, call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. We've targeted this gang in the past and will continue to target gangs who seed violence and fear in our communities. The FBI will never waver on our commitment to combat violent gangs and those individuals affiliated who prey on others. Today's arrests make neighborhoods across our city safer. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to IRS SAC Tyler Hatcher.
Good morning. Again, I'm Tyler Hatcher. I'm the Special Agent in charge of IRS Criminal Investigation here in Los Angeles. Today's arrests are the result of outstanding investigative work by law enforcement partners from LAPD, U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, and my office, who's worked tirelessly to find the evidence necessary to charge those who are alleged to bring harm to our communities, as you've heard previously. The Rico charges against Mr. Henley and his associates reflect a pattern of crimes that runs a gambit from extortion to robbery to murder to tax fraud and to human trafficking, all under the umbrella of a well-organized criminal organization led by Mr. Henley. Additionally, Mr. Henley duped the County of Los Angeles by running a nonprofit named Developing Options, which was set up to pull youth out of the gang life and promote anti-gang solutions. Yet Mr. Henley continued to personally orchestrate violent gang activity that impact our communities. Donors trust that their donations will be used in a manner that's consistent with what the charity was set up to do and applied as intended. In this case, it was for the benefit of at-risk youth. Financial transactions leave a trail, and IRS criminal investigation special agents are the best at following that trail. The trails led to Mr. Henley's, allegedly lead to Mr. Henley's personal bank account, and the money trail doesn't lie. Organized crime victimizes our Los Angeles communities far too frequently, but the arrests made today demonstrate our commitment to making Los Angeles safer for everyone impacted by these criminal enterprises. IRSCI is proud to partner with our federal and state and local law enforcement partners to make our communities safer and to protect from these violent acts. And on that, I'll turn it over to the Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here today. I'll keep my comments brief. From day one, the Los Angeles Police Department's been proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with the FBI and our partners here today in this critical investigation. The invaluable expertise provided by Operation South Bureau FBI Task Force on the Rolling 60s criminal street gang has played a pivotal role in securing these 19 federal indictments laid out this morning. It's a measured step forward in our ongoing fight against gang violence and brings hope and relief to a community that for too long has endured far too much. Together we will continue to protect and serve, working tirelessly to ensure safety in all of our neighborhoods. I'll return the U.S. Attorney, Joe McNally, for any questions follow-up.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
We'll take any questions.
So Henley is still on the loose?
He is.
Do you expect to snag him today, or is this something where he's gone?
Yeah, I think all I can say is that look, he is the leader here, and we're looking for him and trying to find him. He's a fugitive at this point, and we're using resources to try to track him down.
When were all the other arrests made?
The arrests were made this morning, in early this morning.
And that's of the more than this whole group here that's in custody, or?
So there are there were a number of arrests, I think roughly 10 this morning, and then there are other individuals who were in state custody that are being transferred into federal custody. But approximately 10 arrests were made this morning.
I think you mentioned it earlier, but what kind of penalties or time in prison are these people?
So a federal racketeering conspiracy complaint that's charged here, 1962D, covers up to 20 years in federal prison. The next stage here would be that Mr. Henley and others would be indicted by a grand jury, and the penalties at that point could range and include higher penalties. So at this point, he's charged in a criminal complaint.
Is he charged with murder too as well?
He's charged in a Rico conspiracy, and part of that Rico conspiracy, one of the predicate acts is the murder that is described in the complaint. He has not yet charged in an indictment with substantive murder.
You mentioned the taxpayers were defrauded. Can you tell us how much taxpayer dollars he obtained from what city leader or official? And what does this mean for groups that are working on anti-gang efforts and trying to get donations from celebrities or city agencies?
Sure. So I think just to kind of go back, Mr. Henley and the allegations are here, operated a criminal enterprise. He used his status in L.A. as a gang member, somebody who was known as an enforcer, in order to execute the crimes that are described in the criminal complaint. As part of that, and to get to your question, he also had this charity and held himself out there to be somebody who was committed to reducing gang violence, committed to supporting youth in the city. As part of that, he received grants from government agencies to do that work. And as we describe in the criminal complaint, he used that goodwill to benefit himself. He diverted money from that charity and lined his own pockets with it. And that money was ultimately traced, and that we can show that he used it for personal purposes. So there was an embezzlement angle to this, to the criminal enterprise, where hundreds of thousands of dollars were siphoned off that should have gone to charitable purposes, gang reduction, gang intervention. Instead, he used it for his own purposes, his own criminal enterprise. In addition to that, there was tax loss. And like many of our cases, we ultimately do a financial investigation, and we see that embezzlement and that siphoning happens often. There's a parallel tax conduct that is also described in the complaint. So you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that the charity ultimately siphoned off for his purposes. It was a charity that he controlled, and again, held himself out there to be somebody in our community who was, as Chief McDonald said, these communities, oftentimes our poorest communities that need intervention the most, they need law enforcement the most. He held himself out as somebody who was part of that team trying to improve South Los Angeles. And the facts in the indictment and the wiretap calls that we intercepted as part of the investigation that are described in the complaint, not the indictment, the complaint, describe that contradiction. That on the one hand he's Mr. Charity, and on the other hand he's engaging in all of this criminal conduct. That's set out in the criminal complaint.
Okay, so it's outlined in the criminal complaint specifically what government agency gave him money?
It's outlined that he got grant money. I believe that money flowed through the city of Los Angeles. But I don't have the specifics in front of me. What I can tell you is that typically, grants flow through the state and then eventually, are typically issued through the city.
And to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Did you say the name of the charity?
Yeah, the charity I referenced earlier is...
You have been listening to federal and local authorities talking about arrests being made involving the RICO charges, that's Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. So 10 people were arrested early this morning, but there are still 2 fugitives that they are looking for connected to a notorious gang. We want to bring in investigative reporter Eric Leonard into the conversation.
And Eric joins us with more context on this arrest. So we've been talking about the arrest. And then we're also, Eric, talking about the search for the main leader, Eugene Henley, in this. And what really seemed to bother federal and local law enforcement is that he portrayed himself as somebody who really gave back to the community and would help our at-risk youth. And instead, they say he was embezzling, stealing money, and essentially was acting as if he was Mr. Charity, when in fact, they said he was leading a criminal enterprise that was involved in murder, racketeering, drugs, guns, human trafficking. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, this is somebody who's a huge figure in Southern California. If you followed any of the activities, the efforts over the last 20 or 30 years, where the city and county have endeavored to do anything it can to stop violence on the streets that can be traced back to street gangs. This guy, Gene Henley, Big U, is one of the most well-known figures in all of that. The reason he had credibility to even begin acting as some kind of gang interventionist was that he himself was an admitted member of the Rollin' 60s gang. He was caught up in a big cocaine sting back in the 1990s and was sentenced to 23 years in prison. That's where I first came across his name. It was LA County Sheriff's investigation involving the trafficking of cocaine, and he serves this prison sentence. He comes out of prison after serving about half of that. I think it was around 12 years, and in many people's views, reinvented himself as somebody who would take his experiences on the street, his experiences in prison, and then use those to try to help the community. He founded a couple of different nonprofits. The one that was referenced at the news conference is huge. It receives millions and millions of public dollars. As the feds were describing there, this money comes from a variety of different sources, but then is funneled through the city and the county to provide these gang intervention services. His group, as far as the city of LA is concerned, last I saw, received about $2.3 million in a contract signed by Karen Bass, the mayor, and it was specifically to provide intervention help in the LAPD 77th area. South Los Angeles, this is the very area that contains the Rollin' 60s turf. Again, Rollin' 60s, longtime Southern California criminal gang that goes back many, many generations. And the irony here, what you pointed out and what the feds were talking about, is that they allege that while on the surface he was collecting not only the federal and public money through his intervention organization, but also soliciting donations from people in the entertainment industry to provide these intervention services, to do things to stop street gang violence. The feds are alleging here that all the while he was really running the criminal enterprise. He was one of the main shot callers of the Rollin' 60s all along. And if that's true, it certainly raises questions about the veracity and the usefulness of some of these gang intervention programs.
Eric,
they said he's a fugitive. Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, are you surprised that he's a fugitive? So they arrested 10 people or so early this morning. The fact that he is still on the run, and then also Brian Mejia. Do you know who he is? And are you surprised that Henley wasn't arrested?
These federal operations rarely have fugitives involved, because when the feds get involved in one of these long investigations that turns into one of the indictments that we're seeing here today, they throw a lot of resources at it. People are under surveillance. As you heard the federal, the U.S. attorney, the acting U.S. attorney for Southern California say there were wiretaps involved. They're listening in on phone calls and text messages. It's hard to escape that kind of dragnet. Oftentimes when these cases involve people who are alleged members of criminal gangs, members of them are already in prison on other charges, which is the case here. I think they said there were 4 people that were involved. So it is a little bit unusual to hear that somebody escaped the net of the federal and local entities that were out looking for him, not to mention the fact that this is the key person, the center of this entire case. And these days, it's harder to disappear and flee. There are all kinds of things that law enforcement can do to find people that simply weren't possible 20 years ago. But it sounds like from the things they said, they didn't say it explicitly, they're signaling that they have an idea of where he is, and it may just be a matter of hours or days before they believe he's in custody.
Right, Eric Leonard, thank you so much for that context again. Federal authorities announcing the arrests of more than a dozen people regarding a criminal operation being run in connection with the Rolling 60s Crips street gang. But they're still looking for Eugene Henley, who's known as Big U with Big U Enterprises, music promoter and owning a music company as well, and a philanthropist, so-called philanthropist. But again, federal authorities saying that he
That it was all a cover for crime.
Yeah, it was a cover for crime, and that he manipulated the information and embezzled money from LA taxpayers, and as Eric just said, possibly up to millions of dollars.
We, of course, will continue to follow this on air and online. That's the latest for now. Have a good day.
Oh my fucking God.
God damn, we've been on this
Reporting
shit.
live from
But no, no,
100
Told
ENT,
you we
listen.
got
Wack 100 with the
content.
But
exclusive.
everybody so caught up on hating on Wack, they don't open their ears up. Crazy as a
Been
motherfucker.
on this shit for 2 years now. 3 years now, Wack.
This shit
Yeah.
getting
Yeah,
diabolical.
he been under a magnifying glass. That's what I was about to say before the audio came out. He been under a magnifying glass.
They got
So,
I've been
10
19, I
niggas?
know, let me see.
and they blaming you for for being the messenger on some
What?
shit.
Do they
I
have
mean,
the
Like, we
list of
don't
10
what?
they have
available?
the faces, all the
Trying to
faces.
call you the
Bro,
messenger.
they
Like,
got the
what?
whole
They been
lineup.
watching
4,
this
Hold
man.
on.
5, 6.
And then they
For the 10
arrested Brick
people,
Baby too.
that's why I'm asking. Hold on. I was asking if there's a list of the 10 people because there's reports that
Yes, I
Brick
sent it to you.
Baby and
Brick
Luce.
Baby gone. They got Brick Baby.
Yeah,
They
they
Okay,
got
snapped
now
him.
Brick
they're also
Baby.
saying Luce as well, Wack.
Nah, they ain't got him.
Okay, so there's that. Y'all can stop saying that part.
They ain't got him. I think they only got like 10 people. But on the thing, they showing 17 of them in custody, but only 10 of them in custody.
Okay.
They ain't got him. I know about this nigga Vay. Vay ain't like that. But see, you know what? Vay was working. He one of the grid workers. And that's probably what's going on with that. Him, the boy Bear Claw. That's the name I wouldn't say that was signed on the same contract Big U was on. So they got Hop up top. That's a few of these. They got a few ladies. I'm trying to see her face.
Hey, Wack, can I ask a question?
One name is Tiffany.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I don't know the
So that,
ladies.
so that grid program shit, that shit was a front.
Nigga, listen, he thought, listen to me. You didn't hear him telling you what type of organization that was? Y'all didn't hear what they said?
He said that shit was,
Nigga,
a
nigga,
front.
you getting motherfucking goddamn the money from LA County,
Yep.
fronting like you playing gang intervention. And while you playing gang intervention, you turning niggas in, but
Wow.
yet you using the money, you gang banging. Them niggas got sex trafficking.
Yep.
Human trafficking, they got
That
Human
nigga
Personal
broke
yo,
use.
that
every
shit.
law
Personal
there
use.
is.
And no,
Now this is the reason why when niggas was saying, Wack, you on bullshit, you try to dirty nigga name. I said, I ain't trying to dirty nigga nothing up, nigga. Y'all hearing what the people said. Well, why they ain't arresting him? I said, bro, they probably playing for a bigger play. Nigga, as you see, you don't remove the main piece off the board if that's the magnet. He's the motherfucker guiding them to everybody. So why would you remove him off the board? You keep him right there.
This shit gonna reach everywhere too. It's start gonna be reaching everywhere, my
Bro,
This
guy.
is crazy.
listen. Ain't nobody gonna answer his phone call. He ain't gonna be able to call for no assistance. Ain't nobody gonna touch him. It's too much. You too hot.
Way
I
too
hope
hot.
all the niggas that reported was trying to say that little civil Rico, that civil shit with Ray J, they need to put the same shit and report this shit with Big U with the CCE and the Rico. This shit is wild. Sex trafficking and all that, using government funds.
taking the grant money. Yeah, that man cooked.
That shit, tax
That's
fraud.
CCE.
That shit all
He's
he
And they said
fucked.
it
fucked.
went
He
straight to
fucked.
his personal account.
He's fucked.
Skimming the money off the top.
I know SKG like, yeah, nigga. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh, let
over
me
for
text
Biggie.
her.
It is over.
Yeah,
Done.
I would
It's
hear
Done.
her.
over.
Done.
Man, look, everybody out there, do the right thing. Stay out the way. Stay out in the streets, man. Very wicked out in the streets, man, for real. Like, Crazy, crazy work. Bricc, baby. Big U. Man. Man, oh man. What y'all think about the content? Let me know in the comments down below. Appreciate the support, everybody tuning in to the channel. Be sure to like the video. Go ahead and share the video. Be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend. We got content. And shout out to Wack 100, Queen R&B, everybody on the 100 side, man. You already know we gonna run it up. Tornado Gang. What? It's your boy Ray giving them gone. God bless. Peace.